This week on Dine Drink CLE, the podcast.
Jill Veda and Jessica Parkinson, owners of Salt, announced on Instagram that they were closing at the end of August.
The Feast of the Assumption in Little Italy. I was like a chicken cutlet sandwich situation, and then get some pasta, and then get an Italian beef sandwich. I would just eat all day. Just don't eat before. Don't drive because parking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then
drinking.
You can drink Peronis and wine slushies all day. That Yelp in Cleveland is doing some free
Yelp
food.
Cleveland is doing 5 free foodie fun events. Sweet Bean and Cleveland Whiskey are teaming up, and they are doing a pairing. 4 total.
I'm Josh Duke.
And I'm Alex Darus.
And you're either watching or listening to Dine Drink CLE, the podcast, where each and every week we are joined by cleveland.com's best and brightest food experts, insiders, and influencers talking all things eat and drink here in the Northeast Ohio area. Well, what are we talking about today, Alex?
Got some good news and bad news. Sad news about a beloved restaurant in Lakewood closing. We're going to talk about some food events coming up, including the Little Italy Feast of the Assumption, which might be my favorite of the whole summer. And also fruit season, kind of the growing season. Everyone's kind of into fresh tomatoes, fresh peaches right now, but Paris Wolfe recently wrote a story about how this season's a little bit different than usual. So
yeah, that sounds very sweet. But first, we gotta get a little salty, unfortunately, with Salt Plus closing. Paris Wolfe is here to tell us about that. Welcome, Paris.
Hi, Josh. Hi, Alex. It was just last week. Salt, Jill Veda and Jessica Parkinson, owners of Salt, announced that they on Instagram that they were closing at the end of August.
yeah, and they've been open for how long in Lakewood?
They opened in 2016, and in the time since then, Jill has won 3 semifinalist nominations for James Beard Awards.
Yeah, no, it's really sad to hear. I know people love Salt. Once they announced the news on Instagram this week, it was like everyone was posting their stories about the times that they would go out there just to eat all the time. And
Yeah. What were they known for in terms of their offerings?
Jill is known for changing the menu often and doing small plates, items that were interesting and frequently changing.
yeah, I think extremely seasonal too. And I know, I'm curious because she opened Poppy in, is it Cleveland Heights?
Poppy is in Larchmere in the old Felice space, and they have not responded to inquiries about what's up with that. And I know they were going to open Evelyn in the old Spice space, but that is not going to happen.
Yeah, I think as of everything I've seen, Poppy is business as usual, but it is kind of interesting because it was billed as Salt's sister restaurant on the east side, and it's just I don't know, it's always sad when these restaurants are closing, especially ones that people don't really seem to lose interest in Salt because she was always doing different things with the small plates.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder, it being a James Beard, a semi-finalist multiple years, been in the game for 8 years, I think in 2016. Yep, 8 years. I wonder, what happened?
They've been so quiet, it's hard to know.
Yeah, I mean, things unfortunately change, and we talk on this podcast all the time about restaurants opening and closing, and I think especially in Lakewood, there's so many things always opening in Lakewood now, especially, and it's who knows? But it is sad when you lose the staples because there are certain benchmarks of the culinary scene, especially in a small town like Lakewood, and it's sad. And so, yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, it's kind of prime farmers market season. Everyone's looking for fresh fruits and vegetables. But you wrote a story recently about kind of that some of the harvests are having an early season. So what can you tell us
most
about
of the
that?
farmers I talked to about 4, not including the people I've talked to at farmers markets lately, are finding that the growing season is about 2 weeks early, which means peaches, which usually come in at the end of July, have been in for most of July, and they will also end early.
Yeah.
One of the people, the farmers I was talking to were the folks at Quarry Hill in Berlin Heights, and they were saying that fortunately they're going to last long enough to get through their peaches and cream festival on Saturday the 10th.
Oh, yeah. No, because that's what, remember, where were we at the Chef's Garden, and they were going to have a
Strawberry Festival.
But
And
yeah,
the strawberries were super early.
Yeah, they were like kind of running out a little bit, but it's just kind of. Is it due to what is the reason?
Some people are suggesting that it could be climate change. The farmers have had to change maybe even some of the grapes they're growing. You and I we're listening to Todd Thompson of the Doug Katz restaurants, one of the partners in the Doug Katz restaurants, and he was saying that in California they might be switching from Cab Sauvignon to Tempranillo because Tempranillo can grow in those longer, hotter climates, whereas the Cab Sav is almost at its limit now.
Yeah, so like climate change is having a huge impact on
farms,
all aspects of growing, including wine.
Gotcha. So
including near us.
Yeah.
So what? Warmer, drier climates are responsible for us having peaches early?
Yeah. Yeah,
They
absolutely.
ripen early. And
Absolutely.
so one thing I was interested in too is we're still in peak summer, I feel like. But when the fall's coming up, I think it's a big thing for people to go and pick apples and stuff. Are they expecting that season's going to be pushed up?
It is. Like Lodi apples have already come in. Honey
wow.
Crisp are going to come in earlier than usual. Everything's 2 weeks. I saw that Quarry Hill is launching their Pick Your Own Apples very soon. It's just a lot of things are different.
Does that mean it also lasts longer if it's just generally warmer altogether, or is it?
No,
Oh, interesting.
it gets picked earlier, and that'll be the end of the season. Apples are usually here all season because they start ripening about now, and they go through November, depending on the varietal of apples.
Yeah, and I think you wrote another story recently about Quarry Hill and what they do with the overripe fruit, or maybe
they came up with a good
extra.
idea. Instead of having any waste, anything that gets overripe or has a blemish and isn't perfect for the consumer, they've turned into an ice cream product, and they are selling a lot of it.
Yeah.
They are doing whatever's in season right now, peach obviously, but it's been a good seller. It's not. Because I asked her, I said, is it soft serve or hard serve? And she said, something kind of in the middle.
I'm guessing they have
more
to
fruity.
work with another organization to do that because they're not exactly an ice cream spot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they are working with Mitchell's
Oh,
Ice
cool.
Cream in Cleveland to get a vanilla ice cream base to create the new product. So it is all local.
Yeah, so they've had peach. I think you've said
They've
they
had berry, they've had strawberry, they've had, I'm trying to think of what else.
I think a cherry.
Cherry, yes.
Yeah, because that season's over too, right? That was another
that went
quick season.
I missed that. I was going to go pick them, and they went when I normally do, and it was over.
So they do this ice cream pairing with a fruit flavor seasonally based on what's available.
And they do, but they also freeze some of the fruit product, so they have it, so they don't, if the demand's a little low, they don't go through all their fruit and then have extra ice cream. They freeze what they have and they make it to order.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, that's a really good idea. And I feel like, too, especially because overripe fruit tends to be kind of sweeter.
Yeah.
So then it's like, that's good ice cream.
It'll be good.
Yeah, but it's going to be weird, especially with apples. Like, I feel like that's such a big fall thing. Like
it needs to be cold so you can, or cold and crisp air so you can have apples.
yeah, like school needs to be back. Like do you think the leaves are going to change earlier?
I've also heard that. I've heard somebody was saying they were sweeping up their leaves already because it's dry, and they called the extension agency, and that's what they heard as well.
Wow.
I know.
I'm not ready for like Halloween and fall decor and all that stuff. So what the weather
Retail
needs to get it
is. Have you
together.
seen? I was in
I know
Heinen's
it is
yesterday,
everywhere.
and Oktoberfest beers were everywhere.
Oh,
I know.
wow.
Right now I'm just eating like tomatoes and grilling every day. So
I don't
it's,
want pumpkin spice.
I don't want it.
Yeah, speaking of apples though and ice cream, I can't imagine. Maybe there's a flavor that I'm not thinking about.
You can make like sorbet, oh no,
Cinnamon apple.
Mitchell's makes. I think they do like a cinnamon apple. Like
Okay, yeah, there we go.
it's
That's
good.
It. That's
It's
what I was
and it
missing.
has like pie crust in it.
Maybe some graham crackers. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think you could also make like a sorbet, and that would be good. And last week we were talking about the cider. You can make a hard cider float, apple sorbet.
That would be good.
This might be a silly question. Is sorbet sherbet ice cream? What is sorbet? What is that?
Sorbet doesn't
It's
have
more-
dairy.
Right.
Oh, so it's like maybe it's
I
the
think
same thing.
sherbet is like the less
Is
They're
that just
little
a fancy way
different.
of saying sherbet ice cream?
Sherbet definitely has dairy in it.
Oh.
I feel like sorbet is I feel like Italian ice kind of. It's probably like
It's
like
a frozen fruit juice product
Hmm.
that's
it's good.
Okay.
yes.
Sounds like sherbet, but okay.
It's not. Yeah, I think you're thinking of the big tub with 3 colors.
Uh-huh.
No, that definitely has dairy in it. Like that
Oh.
is more like ice cream.
So it's ice cream without dairy.
Yeah.
You could say that
Pretty
without
much.
the cream. So it's ice without the cream.
Isn't that just like a slushy at that
No,
point?
It's frozen.
because they churn it. I think
Okay.
probably. We should have wrote this story for summer. I guess the difference between all of them.
I know, really.
Yeah, but kind of speaking, going into Italian ice is not this weekend, 2 weekends from now, starting August 15th, is the Feast of the Assumption in Little Italy.
That's always a fun event.
Yes, and so there's a lot of different food and drink specials in Little Italy for the feast. Technically, the feast is August 15th. It celebrates the Assumption of Jesus's mother, Mary, into heaven, and so it's really religious, but especially because Italians, how they express culture a lot is through food. It ends up being a huge food thing too. So it is a 4-day festival, and there's a ton of different specials. And Italian Ice, Mount Granita, is doing a feast pop. So I don't know if you've seen in July, like they do a layered Italian ice, so it looks like a bomb pop, like red, white, and blue. But this one's gonna look like an Italian flag, so it's gonna
Oh.
be mint mojito, lemon, and strawberry flavors in a little cup for the feast. But they'll have all the regular flavors too, and they're all like, I literally think I've been there like 3 or 4 times this summer already because it's so good. But yeah, so lots of other stuff at the feast. Tutto Carne will be doing Italian beef sandwiches. There's a lot of different handheld chicken parm sandwiches. I know last year my friend was walking around with like literally a bowl of clams. Like it's just like the best eating day. You know
I've
what
had
I
a
mean?
bowl of eggplant
You
parmesan.
can eat sausage, cannolis, everything.
Pick up a cassata cake, slice of cassata cake from Corbo's or Presti's.
Yeah, so it sounds like all of the Italian spots over there are participating in some degree or another. It's
Yeah, pretty much.
and it's not just the food that's the highlight. There's also like activities, music and stuff, right?
Yes, no, it's like the whole Little Italy. Like anyone who has gone knows, like parking's a nightmare. Take the RTA; it's a lot easier. But it's like the restaurants are open. A lot of them will be open regularly for like regular dining. They'll kind of be turning their parking lots into patios. People will play like a bunch of different like games and
Bocce.
activities. Bocce, that's what I was trying to think of. I'm like, it's not cornhole.
No,
but, like,
bocce.
It's kind of similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so bocce and stuff like that. But then on the other side, like there are a lot of religious aspects to it. Like there's mass every single day. There's different processions and different aspects like that at Holy Rosary Church in Little Italy. So that's kind of the home base for what's it
The
called?
religious.
The Feast of the Assumption. Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I went to a Catholic high school and I was taught about this and I completely forgot, but I would imagine it sounds like a pretty big deal and it was never like part of, but maybe it's because it's like right before school starts.
Yeah.
Which Catholic school?
Villangela St. Joseph High
Oh.
School. Yeah.
I'm shocked. I went to Notre Dame and we talked about it. All the Italian students, all the Italian women
Yeah.
didn't come to school for a day.
Yeah, but I think too it is like the 125th feast or something this
Wow.
year. So it's something it's been around for a while.
And that's in Cleveland specifically, or is that like
No,
global?
in Cleveland.
Oh.
I think because if Mary's Assumption would have been longer than
Yeah, it's definitely. It's
125 years ago. I don't
didn't
know.
know-
You're the one that went to Catholic high school. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's in Cleveland because I mean it's always been a huge thing. I feel like my whole life. You've been to the feast before.
I have.
Yeah. What is
yeah.
your favorite part of?
The food.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the food. Just going from place to place and checking out the food.
Yeah. And I know, like, I mean, people love drinking there too. It goes pretty late on the Friday and Saturday nights. I kind of like going the Sunday, it's a little more chill. I mean, I'm pretty sure it still goes till 10 p.m. and but it's just like the best party, the best food party for sure.
Where are you recommending people check out first in terms of in the area? What are your recommendations?
know. Well, I guess I know Centini, who we've talked about. I love that
That's where
bar.
you should go for drinks.
Yeah, you start there, you get a drink there, and then maybe walk around, get a Trattoria Roman Garden is doing like chicken cutlet sandwiches, sausage and peppers, like rigatoni, stuff like that. I always like a chicken cutlet sandwich situation, and then like get some pasta, and then get like an Italian beef sandwich. You gotta like, I don't know. I would just eat all day. Just don't eat before. Don't drive because parking sucks.
And
then
drinking.
you can drink Peronis and wine slushies all day. It's fun.
They should have an Italian club over there for this. The after
You mean like
party.
a club?
Yeah, like
Oh, a club.
yeah, club.
I mean, it kind of turns into a club.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. I know Paris recently wrote that Yelp in Cleveland is doing some free
Yelp
food.
Cleveland is doing 5 free foodie fun events. One of them is going to a nail salon and having your nails done, express manicure, getting cupcakes, charcuterie, champagne. Another one is Sweet Bean and Cleveland Whiskey are teaming up, and they are doing a pairing. And then, there's 5 total.
Yeah.
2 of them are week long and you can pop in, and 3 of them are reservation only. The only way you can go is if you are a Yelp member, if you have your name, your city, and you've registered on Yelp, and then you have to RSVP to be accepted to go. It's not the accepted, it's just a wait list kind of thing, if there's still spaces.
So it's free, like with registration.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I really like that Yelp is getting involved in this sort of way. Yelp Cleveland is getting involved with local
small businesses. Yeah. No, it is a great way for the businesses to get their names out there and people to experience what's going on.
I think Yelp can like have a reputation sometimes. People think it's like people only go on there to like trash businesses or when they have a bad experience. So I think it's kind of cool when they do stuff like the events or they highlight the best X. I know Cleveland was on like, I wrote a soup list, like best soups in the U.S., like random stuff like that. But they do highlight these different small businesses.
Yeah, I think most people think of Yelp as like basically Google reviews. You just go on there to look at reviews and stuff, but they clearly have a wing that's all about sort of promoting and highlighting and communicating about local restaurants or wherever, they are. So I think that's pretty cool. You don't see Google reviews, doing
getting involved
events.
in the community like Yelp does.
Yeah, no, and I do think you have to be just kind of comb through Yelp reviews. Like, I don't know, certain things. I think service is really like subjective and stuff like that.
Yes.
And so sometimes I don't think it's like live and die by Yelp, but it is really helpful for certain things. Like, I don't know. I look at Yelp pictures to see like, do they have
Alex,
big tables? Do they have patio? What do you look at?
I'm so sorry. I was going to input my controversial opinion about this sort of topic.
Okay.
I honestly feel like reviews like this, like Yelp or Google reviews, I feel like you should have to have a profile photo and an age. Like, because I want to know what your like lived experience is, so I can see how it matches on. I feel like that'll inform.
No, it
your
shouldn't be
review for
anonymous.
me.
It should not be anonymous because people just like trash.
Yeah.
Like,
because if you are like a certain type of person and you don't like something and you leave a review like that, that might be a cue to me. Like, oh, I'm gonna love this. Like, oh, you don't like the music? I will love the music.
No. Yelp should be like a dating profile where it's like, I prefer quiet restaurants.
Yes.
I am okay with a dog on the patio. It's like, then I can see if I actually care about your review or not.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea.
Love that idea.
Okay, submit that to Yelp Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't know. People are weird about their face being on the internet and their name and stuff. Kind of. They don't mind it on Facebook, but I don't know. People are
Yeah, I think
weird.
that's why. Like, sometimes with Facebook reviews, it's kind of like, oh, at least it's connected to like the real person's
Well,
profile.
for Yelp, if you're going to the events, you have to have a face profile, a face
Really?
picture. You
Like
can't-
your name.
your name and your picture
Oh.
and your city. You have to have all of those on your
Interesting.
profile.
Well, sounds like they're trying to go in the direction that you're suggesting. But no, it seems really cool that they have all these, like we said, free events. It's always like, especially with foodie events, a lot of them are ticketed. And I know you and I kind of, it's like we have to pick and choose what we want to go to. So it's kind of nice when there's something free you can pop into and
Right.
get a little snack. Thanks so much for listening to or watching Dine Drink CLE, the podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Follow us on Instagram at DineDrinkCLE and subscribe to our newsletter at cleveland.com/newsletters.